Hey everyone, welcome to Chill and Document with Nonkulelego. So today I'm going to be doing the Ananias Mathe's case. He's one of the most wanted, notorious, dangerous men, the one who escaped the highest maximum prison, C-Max prison, So a lot of people are asking themselves, was it really a true escape or was it a bribery? I also asked myself that when I was doing the research. So who is Ananias Mathe? Mathe is a Mozambican national who was born in 1976. He was born and raised in Mozambique. His parents, Zephanias and Safira, raised him, and he was known to be a child who suffered from a mental disorder which is called antisocial personality disorder. It's a disorder that where a person doesn't show any regard to right or wrong, and they ignore the feelings of others. They just don't care about how you feel. They actually don't have any emotions. So I could say it's related to the brain and the nerves, where just your brain just shuts down when it comes to emotions. So his childhood mostly definitely affected him. So he was also known to be a loner, someone who was always alone during his childhood. He was never someone who was with friends or other kids. He was just an introvert, someone who was always alone. And at the age of 12 years old, he escaped from his home. And his reason was that his mom would beat him up. And his mom would beat him up because he bunked school, and in school he would say the teachers are beating him up too. Obviously back then corporal punishment was allowed. Kids were allowed to be beaten up if they didn't write homework or are bullying other kids or are being naughty. Corporal punishment was definitely allowed back then. It's not like now where it's no longer allowed. So that was his reasons for running away from home. So he fled home. After he has fled home later on, he joined the Mozambican Defense Armed Forces, and he was at a camp, a military training camp, where he got his training. And then after that, that's when he left and went to Russia to further his military training. Wow, imagine being in the military at that age. That's a very young age to be in the military. Okay, wow. So after he has furthered his training, he went back home, where he had two beautiful wives. He was in a polygamous relationship. He had two wives, Elizabeth and Celeste, and they had 7 children and 2 grandchildren. Wow. At that age, you are having 2 wives, you are already a man of the house. Like, his childhood or life has been rushed. It really has been rushed. It's like he hasn't even gone through adolescence and teenage life, right? So he had 2 wives. They lived in Mozambique, in the Shai district, in the Shikumbane village. That's where he is from. So in 1999 he decided to leave Mozambique, and he told his wife that, honey, I am leaving, I am going to South Africa, I want to go and look for better jobs, because he was the man who provided and everyone was looking up to him. So it was really yeah, he had responsibilities, so he just decided to leave home and go to South Africa in 1999 at the age of 24 years old. So he decided to leave because the situation back at home, it was not good. It's not like it's those people who had everything, they don't have much. So he really saw the need to leave home and find better opportunities. That's what he told his family. That's how it seemed like, so yeah. So his wife also mentioned that he was a very loving man to his family. She says he was a kind man. He loved his family, because even every year during Christmas he would go home, buy all the nice things, buy all the gifts and presents and clothes, so he could be with his family, so every year he would go home. He would make sure that he sends 100 rand every month for his family. And you must understand, 100 rand was a lot back then. 2000, it was a lot of money. You could buy a lot of things with 100 rand at that time. So yeah, he would send money every month. So the wives really loved him because he was providing, and he didn't show them to be this brutal and cruel person. He just showed them to be that kind, nice person, someone who doesn't drink alcohol, someone who doesn't smoke, someone who doesn't do drugs, someone who's always attending church with his family, so he was really that ideal husband towards his wives, whereas when he is out there, he is just totally the opposite. Yeah, so I guess it also comes with his mental disorder, right? But my question again is, how are you able to act right at home, and then when you're not home, you're not able to act right due to your health issues? Won't your health issues affect you at any time or at any point? Just my question. Yeah. So between 1999 and 2002, that's when he was in South Africa, and then he started his crimes. He started robbing people's houses. He started but he was not sexually assaulting his victims. He would go into people's houses and rob things like cash, jewelry. He knew that a lot of rich people would have a safe in their house where they put money instead of putting their money in the bank. So when he goes there, that's what he would also look for. So they would open the safe and he would get the money. And what's interesting enough is that most of his victims, they are white people. I'm trying to understand why he specifically attacked a certain race. I don't know. One of the things that I would assume, just my opinion, is that maybe because back then white people had more money, and it's them most of the time who had safes in their house or in their businesses. And most of the time white people, they were the ones who had businesses. But I don't know, tell me in the comments, what do you think made him to be attacking like that race, right? So when he started doing his robbery, he would carry around sausages that had poison. So maybe if he is in a house that he is robbing and it has dogs, he would just give them those sausages which are poisonous, and the poison was a deadly poison, because the dogs would die. They would die. They wouldn't even survive that poison, so he was known to be carrying around those sausages. So after 2002, from 2003, that's when he extended his crimes to rape and so on. So he also had victims that he has sexually assaulted, and 3 of those victims, they really had to immigrate or leave the country, or maybe leave the province, due to the trauma that they were faced through this man. So between 2003, 4, 5, that's when he started extending his crimes, right? And then in 2005, that's when he was arrested for the first time. And then he was just like arrested in a police station, right, where he was awaiting his trial. So during that, he was able to escape from the central Johannesburg prison. So he was able to escape from there. And then again, there were questions asked that how is it possible for him to escape? Did he bribe some of the police, or did he really like escape? Is he the master of like escaping or anything? So those were the questions that were raised at that time when he escaped in 2005 for the first time, when he was in prison. And then again in 2006, he was also detained in the AC ward, C-Max prison in Pretoria. That's the highest maximum secured prison. No one has ever escaped that prison, but he was able to escape that prison. And they say what he did, it was to apply some Vaseline on himself, and then he just escaped through his cell bars, and then from his cell bars he was able to escape through the window, his cell window. I don't understand the logic there, because I don't understand how the prison looked like. So they say that like he was first able to escape through the cell bars, and then from his window, they say he used the bed still, those stands of the bed. They say he used that to help him escape through the window, which was 20 centimeter by 60 centimeter. That is very small. I had to take my ruler and check how small is that, because wow, 20 by 60, a ruler is this size, and then so you're gonna add the other 60. Kind of makes sense, because if you are saying 60, because when I'm putting the ruler, it will be here from here. And remember, Mathe was known to be a guy who was very, very small. He was very skinny. He was not like a big guy. He was a small guy. Yeah, you could say that. So they say he was able to escape through that window cell, and he took his clothes, bed linen, and tied them to the bed, and it helped him to escape all the way down to the firewall. So they are saying on his way down, he wrote a message and left it for the wardeners or the police that said the F word to the police. Yeah. So again, there were questions that were raised. How is it possible for this guy to escape this prison? Some people or some newspapers claim that he might have bribed the wardeners, because an investigation had to be ran or had to go on and check what has really happened, and then they found 4 wardeners, prison wardeners or warder, who were in charge or who helped him to escape in that prison. Can you imagine? So there was a disciplinary hearing where they were found guilty and they were dismissed from their work. And then there were also 2 other officials who were also displayed and went under a disciplinary hearing. They were also fired from working. So yeah, but their identity, it was hidden. They didn't want to tell the public who were they. I think they were just trying to protect their family because they really have done damage to the other victims, So after he has escaped the first time, he went on in Great Hall, Johannesburg, and he hijacked a car. And when he hijacked a car, he was followed by the police officers and a private company, a security private company. So he didn't know that the car that he hijacked had some satellite tracking device. They shot him 3 times on the leg and also on his buttocks. So, and then again, that's when he went to jail again. That's when he was rearrested again. And then during his arrest, he tried to escape in 2013, by damaging the wall or the sink in his cell. And then one of the guards, they caught him doing that, and he tried to escape again in 2016, but he failed to escape from that. So he was also, it was known that he broke onto over 20 houses during his when he was not in jail. He was also poisoning dogs, and he also got 2 policies, 2 officials were dead after trying to investigate his case, and also 2 witnesses who were supposed to testify against him in court, they also disappeared. So he was really known to be one of the most dangerous criminals out there. So it's still really not known that did he really escape on his own, or did he bribe the officials or the wardens, because it has been said that when he was in jail, his gang members that he was hijacking trucks with would go home to collect some money so they could go and take him out of jail. And the wives, they also mentioned that they were told by his friends that they are going to take him out of the prison, so they will just wait for him to call. But he couldn't cross the border from South Africa to Mozambique because all the police were already alerted that he needs to be captured. He just escaped from prison. So it's still not known if he really our own South African Houdin to escape the most highest secure prison in South Africa. But there are also rumors that he might not have just escaped. He might have just bribed the police officers, allegedly, maybe 80k, around that money. So I also don't know if is it true that he is the most or the first person to escape prison or not, or did he just bribe those people? So he ended up passing away in the hospital due to urinary infection. So it was due to natural causes. He ended up passing away in 2016, and then he was laid to rest. His family was allowed to come and fetch his torso here in South Africa and go back with it home so they could give him a burial. So the wives also believe that it's important for them that they bury their husband the way everyone would be buried. So they made means to come here in South Africa to fetch his torso, and then they had a burial at home. Yeah, and it's really sad, you know, because he was never that type of a person at home compared to what he was to other people's families. That's the end of the story. Hope you enjoy it and you come back for more. And please recommend me other cases that I can do that interest you, or you want me to research them, and then I'd be so happy to do any of those you guys would recommend for me.